Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast here in Shoreditch. We are today in a great venue right in the heart of Old Street. I'm here with Spencer Oliver. I'm Gareth Davis. It's Adam Azeez, Ohara Davis Fight Night tomorrow night. You're there with John Rawling. We're in the studio. We have a live broadcast on it on talkSPORT. talkSPORT 2, by the way, from 6:30 and then over to the big show, talkSPORT 1, I think at 9
p.m.
At 9 p.m. Really good cards. Earlier on, we're here for the weigh-ins, you and I. Fran Hennessy and Ana de Moraes of Brazil, both very, very good boxers. 5-0 de Moraes, really going at it on the stage there.
They was after the weigh-in. It all get a little bit heated as expected. You know, we're going into a contest here. Reality kicks in once they make the weigh-in. The girls are quite tight at the weight. They both made the weight comfortably, but de Moraes, she looked very big at the weight, very strong at the weight.
Very powerful,
She's 5-0 as a professional, and it's a big step up, I must say, for Fran Hennessy, who, you know, she had a tough fight last time out, and she would have learnt a lot from that. But this girl that she's got, this opponent, she looks very, very tough.
What Fran Hennessy has, though, is speed and movement, and obviously the background of her father, Mick Hennessy, one of the foremost boxing promoters of the last 20, 30 years in the country. We both know him well. Did he ever promote you or not?
No, he didn't. But he's always been a long-time friend of mine, Mick.
But Darren Barker, Carl Froch, Tyson Fury early on. I mean, he really does know the nuts and bolts of the sport. And obviously his son Michael and his daughter Fran going into the sport. Who would have ever believed it?
Absolutely.
She's very talented, isn't she?
She's very, very talented. But de Moraes, as we saw when she was on that scale, she is completely up for this. She's giving it all the signs. She's there. She's pumped. And like I say, physically, she looks so big, so strong. It's a tough fight.
Bigger than you.
Those girls that come from over, to South America and whatnot, they come over and they are generally bigger because of, where they're from, the altitude, etc. They do generally come very, very big, and she's no exception to that. Very big indeed.
Yeah, and I think Fran Hennessy is probably, if she carries on the way she is, within a year and a half, really looking at a world title fight, because she's got the skills, she's got the desire, she's on magazine covers at the moment. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Where she's really putting herself out there, and for me, she's got the personality of an absolute female superstar.
She oozes confidence. She oozes confidence.
Personality,
Absolutely.
she's got everything.
Yeah.
We're going to be joined at some point today by Fran, hopefully. We're looking for Ben Shalom to join us, the promoter of Boxer, who's having the cards at the weekend on Sky Sports as well. We also Anthony Yarde's weighed in.
Yep.
We're against Ralph Wilkens, the Latvian, 17-1. So fascinating to see how he gets on. We had him on the podcast yesterday. He's chasing a fight with Joshua Buatsi, or says actually that Buatsi's chasing the fight with him. Do you agree Buatsi's made his name on the back of Anthony Yarde?
No, I think they've both made their names in different ways. They've both taken different paths. It's a fight that we've always been looking forward to. It's one of those British fights that we need to see, as opposed to we're talking about afterwards that if, who, why didn't it happen? We need it to happen, that is for sure, and I think that we will get that fight now. It seems closer than ever, but Anthony Yarde has got a job to do against Wilkens, who's 17-1. He weighed in at 12 stone 9.5 actually. Anthony Yarde weighed in at 12 stone 11, but looked in fantastic shape. I expect Yarde to do the job. And
inside 7 or 6 for me.
I think inside 4.
Okay, whoa, you're pushing it
I'm
out.
going big.
We will have a few guests for you today. Very atmospheric here. It's at the Copper Box. You can follow talkSPORT obviously on it, but we're at the Copper Box Saturday night. That's where it's taking place, on the Queen Elizabeth Park. It's a brilliant venue as well. Yourself and John Rawling will be there, myself and Adam Catterall in the studio. It'll be a 5-hour broadcast. I'm really looking forward to this, because we've been at the big event in Saudi Arabia last week, and it's great to be back to a really good domestic card.
Absolutely. Listen, you look down that card and you look at the names that are on there. Dan Azeez actually in a fantastic fight again against Louis Edmondson, a guy that's coming through the ranks, has always been chasing that fight with Ben Whittaker. He now gets the opportunity to fight for the vacant British and Commonwealth light heavyweight titles against Dan Azeez, the former champion, in a real crossroads fight actually for Dan Azeez. This is about keeping his career alive after that controversial draw last time out where he underperformed. He talks about that himself. And for Louis Edmondson, this is a chance for him to make his mark. He's been shouting, from the rooftops for a long, long time now that he's been wanting this opportunity. Well, he gets it on Saturday night.
Brilliant. Let's get, who is it?
Michael
There he
McKinson.
is. I couldn't see
Michael-
him in the dock. How are you?
I'm good.
Great to see. I haven't seen you for ages. How are you doing, Michael McKinson?
It feels good to be here. Very slow year, no fault of my own. It's been 10 months since being out the ring, but the important thing is I'm back with an important fight. This is a very important fight. It's the biggest fight of my career since the Ortiz fight, and I'm good to go. I'm ready. I'm excited.
It's the IBO welterweight title for you fighting against the South African, a tough guy that's come over as well.
Yep.
He fancies. I saw it getting a little bit heated in there as well.
Yeah, he's above me in every ranking, box rec, all the governing bodies and stuff. So the bookies actually have me slight favourite, which I was shocked at. But
Do you not like being the favourite then?
Hey, listen, underdog mentality always. I perform better and I thrive off being the underdog, and he's a guy that's ranked above me in the world. So I see myself as the underdog. I'll put myself in that position, and I'll prevail.
Can we rewind to your big American fight? I mean, you might not want to talk about it, but you were undefeated at the time. You went into the big time. Talk to us about what you learnt from that, because a loss is a learn as well, and I'm sure you did learn from it.
Yeah, at the time it was a bit of pill to swallow tasting defeat. I was very confident going into the fight, although being I think 9-1 underdog. I really did believe I could pull it off, and there was an injury in the fight. I was doing okay in the fight. I was winning rounds. I cut him and stuff like that. I was making him look pretty ordinary. And although I was down, I think 5-2 down at the time, things were going okay. And I had a hip injury in the 8th. Yeah, hip injury, and then I kind of pleaded to let me go out for round 9, but that was pride more than anything. But I made him look ordinary. But and most importantly, I proved that I deserved to be at world level.
Oh, no question.
But the thing is, I'm known as the guy that did good against Ortiz.
Was he 19-0 and 19 knockouts at the time, something like that?
Yeah, and I did very well in the fight, but at the end of the day, I'm still the guy that did good against.
That annoys you, and that annoys you.
I lost.
Do you know what the problem you've got, Michael, is that you've sort of become the chairman of the who needs him, who wants him club.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes for a fighter you can be too good for your own good, and they don't want to give you that opportunity until you get to that position. Now you've got your opportunity. The IBO World Welterweight title will give you that springboard that you need.
This IBO title is my golden ticket. It's a very powerful bargaining tool for the world titles, really. You look at recent times, Lyndon Arthur won the IBO and managed to get the Bivol fight, and Kakachi won the IBO and managed to get the Cordina fight, people like that. So I'm really using this as my golden ticket and to catapult me back to the elites.
Is your father here or not?
Is there... Dad.
Where is he? Come on in. Nice to see you.
Okay, nice to see you as well.
Because you're instrumental in your son's
not to
career.
swear.
No. You can swear and you can say all you like on here. This is a podcast. We're just talking about Ortiz. What did you get him to learn from that performance?
Well, how to block a body shot properly, really, to be truthful. It's plain and simple, really. Took a lot of experience out of that. It wasn't just the fight itself, it was the build-up and the intensity of the whole seriousness of the situation, how serious it was, really. But now, I don't think there's anything else that Mikey could actually do that would bother him, because he's been there and done it at the highest level. And we're hoping that Ortiz was going to move on to become like a world champion and stuff, and hopefully he will do. But yeah, he's got the interim at the moment and stuff, and obviously it was his first fight at super welter, and so he's just warming into the weight. But yeah, hopefully he'll become a world champion and make Mikey look really good then as well.
Listen, Mikey, you've done that apprenticeship now. That's all done. Now we get a chance to, like I say, catapult your career again against a tough South African. Tell us about your opponent as well.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's ranked above me in every ranking. He's kind of being a welterweight. When you look at the boxer ranking, over the years I've always seen his name up there, like near to the top. So he's a world-class fighter. He's tall, he can punch, he's very slick. But it doesn't really matter what he can bring, you know, on the problem he's got to solve. I've had really good preparations. We was out in Philadelphia last month. I was sparring Jaron Ennis.
The streets of Philadelphia, baby.
We had it
South Philly?
We had it north.
No, good. Well, good for you. So you're safe. Yeah.
We had it hard in Bosie's dungeon. 4-minute rounds, 30-second break with the best welterweight on the planet. I've prepared very well. So yeah, we're prepared for a hard 12 rounds. But no matter what he can bring, I'm going to be there and I've prepared for it.
Listen,
Great to see you, gents. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for stepping in, Dad.
Just quickly before you go, you've got a great card there. You've got a great card there with some fantastic fights on. How do you steal the show?
This is Michael McKinson's night. Of the last 4 fights since Ortiz, I've been in the ring with people I'm expected to beat, and people on my rise, when people are writing me off and people don't expect me to win, that's where I perform better. It's happened many times. Congo, Sam McNess, early on in my career, Ryan Martin. And this is one of those fights right now. There are going to be people that write me off, and 100% this is the best Michael McKinson.
I'm predicting a stoppage. What do you reckon?
We train for the 12 rounds. If a stoppage happens, it happens. We're not going to go looking for it.
Brilliant.
Stay well,
Brilliant.
gents. Enjoy London. We'll see you tomorrow.
Mate. Best of luck. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Molto bene.
Well done, guys.
Grazie. Grazie. Michael McKinson, that Italian heritage, of course. Not a lot of people
Tough
know
guy
that.
to beat,
they are
mate.
so. That's why I wanted to get his dad in, because they are so close. And you know, when he got that, almost like a shock to fight Virgil Ortiz. I think it was 19-0 and 19 knockouts
It was,
at the time.
Yeah.
I thought he performed really well against him.
Absolutely. It was
And he did kind of expose something, didn't he?
Ortiz at the time was the guy that nobody wanted to go near, and Mikey, the problem, McKinson stepped up and he went there. But now we got another problem coming in, and Ohara Davis.
Big name here, big 2 minutes.
I love this guy. Yeah.
Right. Really big name. Listen, this guy's a much bigger name than me. You know what this guy's done?
Wow.
You see, this guy's here achieved a lot in boxing.
No, he's still alive, and that's what I like, because he's my mate.
Yeah.
He nearly died 25 years ago. It's a very dangerous sport, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very dangerous sport. Look what happened to Fraser Clark a few days ago. When I say things like that, and then we got Liam Williams, who's now saying, I'm now retired from boxing because he suffered a few concussions, even before the fight, even during camp. But he still took the fight because he had to get the money. Boxing's such a dangerous game, and most times us fighters haven't got any other thing that we know how to do. All we know how to do is fight. So we're in a gym, we're getting our concussions, and we know that we shouldn't fight, and we still fight on because we don't know anything else, and we do it for the paycheck. And you see, this game is a very dangerous sport, and if fighters learn how to invest during their boxing careers, then they wouldn't have to fight on because they need to make money. If we got taught how to invest the right money, how to invest our money instead of going out and buying cars and spending it on girls, a lot of us will be able to walk away from the game when the time's right. Right or wrong?
Right, absolutely right. Listen, do you know what Shakespeare's fool is? He's in the Shakespearean dramas. Shakespeare's fool, they call him that, because it's the person that always speaks the truth. I'm like Shakespeare's fool sometimes, but you are that. You speak the truth. Do you know what? I labelled you the other day. You're like the Derek Chisora of the 140-pound division. You know why? Because you walk around and you're dramatic. You're yourself. You're real. And you will, if you keep going, you're going to be a cult figure in British boxing, because I think you're on the way. No, I mean it in a big way, and they're making you the fool. I say that. What's your response?
That's what's got me in trouble sometimes.
I know, but it doesn't matter. Because that's you've got to be yourself. Because in the long run, people will love you for being yourself, and I think they do. And I think that love is beginning.
I think you're right, actually. I look at all the comments online and I'm starting to feel the love. And
there is love for you. I'm telling you, I know there is. Because people got to know you. Listen, you speak from the heart.
Listen, talk about your approach towards this fight, because like you say, your mouth has got you in trouble sometimes. You said things that maybe you shouldn't have said, but that's who you are, and you say you speak your mind. Your approach for this one has been very respectful. You know what you're going into. You know what stages. You said,
they're trying to make you the fool guy.
For this fight, they wanted me to go in there and to talk as I usually talk, to make some animosity, but I said I've known Adam for years. There's no animosity, and with me,
he loves you. You know that.
Yeah,
he respects you so much.
Yeah, but the people are loving this Ohara Davis as well. Like, you see that
and
this week has been fantastic.
I told him I can't be fake. I like Adam. I like his dad and his brother. We like friends. I know them from when they were kids. Come on.
But if you knocked him out, you'd be happy, wouldn't you?
Listen, I won't be happy because it's just business, and
okay.
And if I knock him out, I'm not going to be happy because I'm sad because I've crushed their dream in a way.
Yeah, but you get a rematch and a big payday. Is that not a business?
Yeah, but there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history between these boys as well.
I'm not really thinking about the rematch, the big payday.
Does it make it difficult then to fight him in some ways?
No, it's not difficult at all because I've sparred my friends many, many times, and I've hurt my friends in sparring many, many times. But after I hurt them, I don't celebrate. I'm not happy. you know, I'm not happy. That's not how I am. That's how a lot of the boxing fans are and the boxing media. But with me, if I fight someone, even if it's someone that I don't know, even when I fought Dave Matthews, I wasn't happy because I know I just crushed a man's goal and his dreams. And he's got a family, and when I fought Tom Farrell, I knocked him out. His mum was at ringside in tears. And I'm not going to be happy at that, but it's a part of the game.
Ohara, to explain how you put these feelings aside, because you two have got history together. You're both training at the Peacock Gym and under the watchful eye of Tunde, and you've seen him grow as a little kid as well, and coming to it when you was the man of the gym. Now all of a sudden you're fighting each other, and a lot on the line, you know, career defining in many ways for you, crossroads of your career where you need this win. How do you put them feelings aside to go in there and do the job?
Listen, I don't need to win. I don't need to win. I don't need to do anything. The way I see it is I'm living my life, and my life is a journey. And even if I don't win this fight, I'll still fight again. I'm Ohara Davis. There's always going to be there will always be a certain place for me in boxing. But for Adam, if he doesn't win, then maybe he'll be done, because Adam's only had 11 fights. He's still new. I'm a character. Boxing will always love me. Boxing will always have me around. Even if I lose another 5 fights next in a row, there'll always be a place for me in boxing.
Absolutely right.
And also, you know, and also I've been smart. Outside the ring, I've been smart. So I'm okay.
You've done well, mate. You've done well.
Ohara, go well tomorrow night. I wish you all the best, and you've got to go out there and win.
I will do. I will do.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well done, man.
Ohara Davis.
Well done, mate.
Ohara Davis, what a character he is. What an individual. And he has a beautiful aura about him as well, doesn't he? Because he sometimes, no, me too. And he's always known as a spoiler and difficult guy, and he said things he shouldn't have said. I'm not going to go into them right now. And then he got over them. But there's a beauty about him, and that's why there's a beauty about Derek Chisora. Let's get a big giant beauty in with us right now. Here he is. We saw him yesterday and said, why were you lurking? Here he is, Jamie himself. You got a big fight on Saturday night, tomorrow night. Are you happy with your weight? Are you happy with the opponent?
Yeah, no, definitely I'm happy. I'm happy with the weight. I felt sharp in the gym, and I know I'm going to be sharp on Saturday, and definitely a good dance partner. So I'm happy.
I'm going to give you a proper intro there, Jamie TKV.
TKV,
TKV, mate. We've got to get that in there. Listen, you had that setback. You know, you got that horrendous cut. How is that, by the way?
It healed nicely.
Yeah.
I was back. Obviously, I think after 2 months I started sparring again.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't sparring just anyone. Sparring people like Joshua, Fabio, Alois. You get me? I wasn't sparring no chumps either. So.
Yeah. So you're back to winning ways.
Exactly.
Now you got the platform again. You know, a lot is expected from you. You know, with a lot of good things coming out of the gym.
Yeah.
What sort of performance are we going to see on Saturday night?
Man, destruction, man. I'm trying to destroy who's in front of me, and unfortunately, that's Franklin. You know, I need to go out there and do what I do, show my skill sets too. Not just go out there and just throw big overhand righters, but show my skill set and get the job done.
We live in a world right now where winning's just maybe not enough. It's about looking good and standing out, stealing shows.
Exactly.
Is that what you're going to do Saturday?
That's the plan. God willing, I do exactly what I plan to do, and it works as I planned it. So, yeah, man, I believe I can do it. I've been doing what I do in the gym, so I know I can put it on and fight.
See those hands? Look at those big old hands.
You don't want to even go there, look. Little baby
Yeah,
hands.
hey, do you know what? You got big hands as well.
I have got big hands and big
Could've been
feet,
a boxer.
but that's another story. Nice to see you, Jamie. Go well tomorrow night. Thanks for stepping
Jamie,
in with us.
The heavyweights
See you later.
are looking
Cheers.
very
Well
attractive
done.
right now,
See you
mate. It'd be
tomorrow night.
good to see you up there with them. Top man.
Cheers,
Well done,
Jamie.
mate.
Cheers. Well, bit of an issue here over the last 24 hours on the gloves being discussed of Fabio Wardley. No issue really, but the gloves being discussed of Fabio Wardley in his fight with Fraser Clark. Obviously, he stopped Fraser Clark on the Riyadh card in the opening round. Here's what Frank Warren had to say about question marks, Fabio Wardley's promoter, of course, about the question marks about the gloves earlier on today on talkSPORT.
I am the promoter of that event. It was a British Boxing Board of Control event. It was the licensed promoter. So what he's saying is that the gloves were not correct. That's what he's alleging, and that is libelous. The manufacturers of the gloves, I'm sure they're going to take that up with him. I know for a fact they will take it up with him, because he is, and the guy who runs that company is a nice young fella, entrepreneurial, built a business from scratch. And what he's saying is totally out of order and wrong. and and as to say it's an investigation. You heard what the Border Control said. How's he investigating anything? He doesn't even have the gloves. I mean, what is he? Think what Clouseau? Does he think he's Inspector Clouseau, or in his case, Inspector Clueless? I mean, the man's a complete and utter idiot to even be going down this road. It's a poor excuse for what was a legitimate win. And I'm sure that Fabio wore those gloves in his previous fight. And the irony of all this is, I understand tomorrow night Adam Azeez, who's fighting on his bill, wears fly gloves. What planet is this guy on?
Well, Frank, they're very incensed about this situation with the gloves. I think we both checked in. I've checked in with the boards. In the rules meeting, the gloves were verified. Robert Smith came back to me and said the Boxing Board of Control were happy with the gloves. I don't think Ben Shalom was at the rules meeting over the gloves, but they were signed off. And we haven't had a chance to speak to Ben about that today. But for me, they followed protocol and there's nothing wrong with it.
It's all very straightforward, and Frank was right in what he was saying, actually, that there is a criteria of the glove that has to fit the Boxing Board of Control's requirements. These gloves do fit that criteria, so they are right for the job. They were the ones that were presented before the fight. Ben Shalom wasn't happy about the gloves because of the make of the gloves, but they accepted that was going on, and I think that's where we're at now, where you have your board inspector standing over when the wraps are being done. They're there, and then they sign the wraps, and then they put the gloves on. They tape the gloves up on the lace area. Then they sign the gloves, and then an inspector's with them before they do that ring walk, so there's no tampering of the gloves or anything. So I think that they were happy from that side. I know Ben Shalom was talking about issues and maybe
he was commenting on the top of comments from the fighter.
And I think that what it is
I think it's been
different gloves are designed for different fighters. So punchers will wear like the fly gloves or the Mexican Calito Reyes gloves.
No,
so
there are certain gloves on the board protocols that you're allowed to use, certain brands.
Absolutely. And
there's no custom-made gloves, by the way.
Absolutely
That's
not.
a misnomer. Yeah. Because they're allowed to use certain gloves. They're signed off by the board. As you say,
it's on the British Boxing Board of Control website.
Exactly. And that's where it lies.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue needs to be cleared up because people look for an excuse sometimes for why they lost. I'm glad Fraser's well. I'm glad he wants to come back. I'm really amazed that he wants to come back early in the new year. I think he needs to take his time to come back and really assess. The things that he said to you were very worrying at the time.
Absolutely. Listen, it was sort of 12 hours after the event, and he was there with his wife, and he was obviously very emotional. Totally understood where he was coming from the experience in that ring, and what happened directly after that, going to the hospital, the operations, and all of that. And you take everything in, and you look at it going, I've got a young family, and emotions will take over. He's had time now. He's processed it, digested it, and now he's talking about wanting to come back. But it's a long process, and there's a lot of psychological stuff he has to overcome as well. But whatever he does, Fraser, we wish him all the best because we love him. He's a lovely man, and he's always going to have a place in boxing, whatever he decides.
Let's go back to Adam Azeez against Ohara Davis. Ohara here, I want to go back to his comments just now because I said, don't you want to knock him out? And O'Hara's got big, heavy hands. He's got really, really amazingly long arms, doesn't he?
Yes.
He's got incredible reach. And he said, no, I don't want to knock him out. But how weird is that mindset that you're going into a fight like that? People are almost expecting him to lose, and yet I don't believe him. I don't believe him.
Let me tell you this.
Once that adrenaline's going...
Let me tell you this. It takes a clever man to play the fool, and Ohara Davies is playing that guy at the moment,
fool.
Absolutely saying, listen, yeah, it is what it is. I don't have to win and all that. Well, we know that Ohara's at that stage of his career, coming off the Barroso loss. It is something to prove, and he will want to win.
Yeah.
You're right in what he says. He's got deceptively long arms. That generates a lot of power. That's where he gets it from. As an amateur, the kid was knocking everyone out. He's done that pretty much as a pro as well. It's a dangerous fight for
I agree. If he gets beyond 5 or 6 rounds,
fight.
It's very dangerous.
Because Ohara Davis seems in a very good place at the moment. Yeah, but he seems in a happy place right now. You know, he's playing all that, he doesn't care and everything else, but that's just trying to get inside. He's using his experience, trying to get inside the head of his young opponent. You know, Adam Azeez, 11-0, 8 KOs. He's very much at the beginning of his career. Ohara's been there, seen it, done it at every level, so might be a smart move from Ohara.
I do think if he goes beyond 5 or 6 rounds,
It's an interesting fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an interesting
because
fight.
Adam is like Amir Khan. He comes out like Billy Whiz, and he lets his hands go very quickly, and he buzzes his opponents.
But Ohara Davis can knock any single person in the division
and he could
out
counter him as well.
at one shot.
And
very heavy-handed.
is there an element, Spence, that given that he was knocked out in one round, as you rightly say, by Ismael Barroso, who's very heavy-handed himself in Vegas in January, and it was a shock defeat in one round, buzzed him early and he stopped him. Is there a little bit of Adam Azeez that's thinking, I'm going to be able to do the same to him here, even though he really respects him as an older guy in the gym from the days at the Peacock?
Well, that's the worst thing that you can be going in there thinking, if that is what he's thinking, because he's got to show this man, Ohara Davis, a lot of respect, because Davis, like I say, he's got a wealth of experience, long arms, he's got good power, and he carried that power early. He knows that Adam Azeez starts fast. He'll be prepared for that, and Azeez has to be careful he doesn't make that fundamental mistake of going in there trying to do what Barroso done and getting caught himself. That's a very, very dangerous move. So Adam has to approach this one right.
It's a crossroads fight for Adam Azeez.
It really is.
You could say that this is a guy he's fighting who's fought world level opponents.
Yeah.
Obviously he lost to Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, and he's lost to Ismael Barroso, who wasn't a world champion but fought at world level, and lost to people like Anthony Crolla. This is an acid test of whether he belongs higher than European level at this stage in his career.
Absolutely. Listen, Davis has only lost to the very, very best. You know, and you look through his record, he's had some good knockout wins in that record as well.
Catterall and Taylor are almost elite fighters.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
he's lost to the very, very best. So it's an approach that Adam Azeez has to approach very, very carefully and feel his way into the fight. We know he's an extreme talent, and it's a calculated gamble from Boxer and Adam Azeez and his team. But he has to approach his fight right, because he's in with a live one in Ohara Davis for sure.
Well, it's a great card to have after the big event in Riyadh last weekend. We got Big Mo back on the mic. We are going to get Ben Shalom with us shortly, and we'll talk about the card, we'll talk about the glove issues. It'd be great to hear from him about those comments, whether they were intended for anything other than
well, I think
passing
he needs to
on
wrap
the
that
boxes.
up, doesn't he? Like,
It's up to him what he does, Spence.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, you know, Frank's had his say on talkSPORT. We saw that interview.
Well, Frank's
we listened to that
defended his
interview.
fighter
Absolutely.
against the fact that there can be any accusation that the gloves were tampered
Well, it's
with.
a strong accusation, isn't it? Tampering of gloves is
It's
a very
heinous
strong
in
one.
boxing. People have been to prison for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's
People
what I'm
have
saying.
been
When
to-
you have an
people have
inspector
been
watching
to prison
over,
in America for doing it. Margarito, remember Antonio Margarito
Absolutely.
against Miguel
Miguel
Cotto,
Cotto.
and then he had the rematch and he battered him. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
absolutely.
And there were wraps in Cotto's. There were hardened plaster in. We're not suggesting this with this, by the way.
Listen.
It's just that there's been the suggestion that they want to investigate this type of glove. But as we've repeatedly said, we spoke to the board, the gloves passed, they were the branded gloves, they were checked at the rules meeting and on the night, they were certified and passed. It was such a horrific injury to Fraser Clark that people are maybe looking deeper into it. We're joined by Ben Shalom, the promoter, of course, of the card on Saturday night. Happy about the week's events?
Oh, it's such a good card, and seeing them all weigh in on weight, how hungry they are. Every fight's got something, even all the way down to Francesca Hennessy's fight, which is a hell of a fight. You've got the Azeez Edmondson clash, Azima Ohara Davis obviously top of the bill, McKinson and Jeamie, which is a phenomenal fight. Anthony Yard returning obviously creates a lot of talking points. It's just a fantastic show, and really looking forward to it, because I think you sit back in the British side of things. We've not had a show since August the 3rd. It's good to see everyone. It's good to see the fighter managers. There's nothing quite like it, British boxing, and when you get it right and you get this many good fights on a card, it's special.
seems to be the trend at the moment, doesn't it? Like 50-50 fights through the card and whatnot. That seems to be it. And
Should
it's
be
like,
the trend.
Absolutely. But the fascinating thing about this one, Adam Azeez versus Ohara Davis, is Ohara obviously proven at that level, only lost to the elite. A calculated gamble from you and the team, who have invested a lot in Adam Azeez, and, you know, big things expected from him. And he's a potential banana skin on Saturday.
It is a gamble, but this is where stars are made. This is where stars are born. And he's done so well to get to this moment. He's still 22 years old. It's still early on in his career. I do think about all the pressure that he's under, but he's a phenomenal talent. And as a phenomenal talent, you're going to come up against big tests early on in your career. Ohara Davis is a hell of a fighter. I've enjoyed watching him for many, many years. to see him go in the ring with Adam Azeez is something I never thought I'd see, but it's a great fight.
It's weird because we had him up here just now and he's saying, because I said, don't you want to knock him out and prove something to everyone, that they're taking you here as not the fall guy, but it's a real challenge, it's a 50-50. He said, no, I don't really want to hurt him, but he's joking with us, he's teasing us, because he wants nothing more than to stop Adam Azeez.
He doesn't want the pressure. There is a lot of pressure on him in this fight, and he's experienced enough to take it off him. Yeah. He didn't come to the workout yesterday because he's preparing to make weight today. The mind games are in full flow, and we said to Adam Azeez after the press conference, because he's experiencing this sort of level of fight for the first time, do not fall into any sense of security. Ohara Davis knows exactly what he's doing. We know he's had a great camp. He looked phenomenal on the scales. He is in a real mindset on Saturday night because he knows a lot depends on it.
Listen, really looking forward to Anthony Yard boxing on the card as well against Falcons, 17-1. Good opponent he's got there, but expecting Yard to do the business then. I mean, come on, give us a little insight here, mate. Anthony Yard, what's going on? Joshua Buatsi, the fight we all wanted to see. Are we any closer to that?
Buatsi will be there on Saturday night. He's made it very clear to me, Josh, that's the fight he wants. He's not going to be fighting Better or Bivol next. There's nothing else. And he'll be there on Saturday because he's been calling it for this fight for over a year. He's just delighted. He's about to see Anthony Yard in the ring with no obstacles, with no hurdles to get through. This is a big moment for them both. They've been synonymous with each other for so many years. They've been compared. They've split camps. They've split the city of London in many ways. Now we might be able to see it. Anthony Yard has to do the business on Saturday night. It is a banana skin, as we saw Ralph saying there. I think a lot's been said about the opponent. He's coming off a great knockout win, but Anthony Yard should do the business, has to do the business, and has to make a statement.
And a little bit of housekeeping. We had Frank Warren on talkSPORT earlier, very unhappy about comments about Fabio Wardley's gloves. Obviously that's his fighter. Your fighter, Fraser Clark, suffered 3 fractures in the jaw on Saturday night. We're all very happy that he's well, and now he wants to come back, as you told us, in the early new year. I think he should take his time. How do you address the comments about the gloves? We've checked with the board. The checks were done on the gloves. They were certified. They were on brand. Certain brands are allowed by the board. Robert Smith told me earlier and told Spencer.
The inspectors were in place. They watched over the gloves being put on.
You weren't at the rules meeting, he said, but I know your John Wishes and your chief was there. What's your issue with the gloves, if you have any?
First of all, I'm the promoter. When I have questions from the team, when I have questions from the doctor, it's my job to pass them on. I'm not the regulator. They'll make that decision. There was no excuse for the loss, no excuse for the fight, nothing to take away from Fabio Wardley. I think it was done in an interview with a sponsor as a passing comment that we have passed on questions. Yeah. That's it. We're not the regulator. And
was that to Neil Scott, the chief medical officer, was it? Or
there's been comments made by members of the team and members of a medical team that I have to pass on. We're not accusing of any wrongdoing whatsoever.
That's good to know. Yeah,
absolutely.
Brilliant. Yeah. So Adam Azeez, where do you take him on Saturday night if he wins?
Listen, the sky is the limit. It really is. I mean,
what a division it is.
It's such a good division. He's at such a good age. He's got the world ahead of him. It's such a big night on Saturday night, I can't tell you. This is the birth of a superstar. If he can come through in fashion against Ohara Davis, it is a big if, but if he can, the star is born, and I've seen him grow from 18 years old. I've seen him through every single fight. I've seen him develop. I've seen him develop as a man. I've seen him develop in the ring.
Very satisfying as a promoter, yeah?
It's the most satisfying thing, because a lot of the fighters that I started with, we were all the underdogs. We were all the fighters that didn't have contracts. We were the promoters. We picked up a lot of fighters that weren't wanted by other promoters. The talent that we've got here with Adam Azeez has to be celebrated. Shane McGuigan tells me every single day about how good Adam Azeez is, how well he's improving, how much he's coming on. The champions that Shane has had, for him to say Adam is the best one of the lot, he doesn't say that lightly, and he has to come through Saturday night. There's a lot of pressure on him. But that division and what's that, he should
domestically and internationally.
He should be able to do huge things in the 140 division and then huge things in the welterweight division, and it's an exciting time for him, but it's a big moment in his career on Saturday night.
Well, we're going to wrap there. Thank you very much indeed. Stay with us for a second. Well done, Spencer Oliver. It's live on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow night. It's on Sky, of course.
Well done, Spencer Oliver. He's done really well.
Well, always. He's always doing really well. He's dressed beautifully handsomely as well today.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate.
Fantastic.
Well, while the self-congratulatory club goes on, we'll end the pod there. You've been watching me, Spencer, and Ben Shalom. Thank you
I
for joining
appreciate
us,
that,
by
mate.
the way.
Thank you, mate.
6:30 p.m. tomorrow
Well done
night,
to you.
Saturday
Yeah,
night.
well done, Gareth.
Thank you. Let me just finish it, and then I've done well.
Well done, Gareth A. Davis.
6:30 p.m. tomorrow night from talkSPORT.
He's been good,
2.
isn't he? He's
Myself, Adam
He's
Cantrell.
really come on. You know, when I first met him,
Myself,
he was
Adam
very
Cantrell,
nervous,
Spencer
and
Oliver, and John Rawling. Over to talkSPORT 1 at, I think it's 8 p.m., isn't it? 9 p.m. We'll have the whole card for you. I hope you've enjoyed the week. We'll see you on the big night tomorrow night.
Well done, Gareth.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.